Aloha, everyone. This is Jeannie Grosso coming to you live from Honolulu, Hawaii. Welcome to the Beyond Breakthrough Show.
And hello, everyone. This is Charlotte Land, and I'm coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona.
We have a very special brief episode today on erectile dysfunction. And this is something that is very, very common. And I'm going to ask the questions to Charlotte, being a nurse for 30 years and seeing all this. What are you seeing more prevalent these days in this space?
So, this is a topic that's kind of taboo or hush hush. You don't hear a lot about it, but you see a lot of commercials on medications for erectile dysfunction. So, one would naturally think, why are we having more and more issues with erectile dysfunction? And why should we care? Well, our lifestyles and our quality of life is definitely affected when we have our significant other, our man in our lives that can't perform. And so this can lead to a whole plethora of other issues within the relationship. But today we're going to zero in a little bit about one of the contributing factors to erectile dysfunction. So one of the things that I'm seeing in the medical profession is that we are taking a lot of high cholesterol medication or medications to help us lower cholesterol. While cholesterol is very, very good for us, it helps with our cell membranes to strengthen our cells. It has to do with hormonal and production of our hormones in our body. And I'm going to get to that in just a minute. So cholesterol has a lot of good things. It's good for our skin. It's good for our cell production. So it's very important that we have good balances of cholesterol. So as I mentioned before, cholesterol is a precursor to our hormones. It's a precursor and helps with the production of testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone. So those are the main hormones that men and women have. So women have more estrogen and progesterone, and we have a little bit of testosterone, and then men have much higher testosterone, and they have a little tiny bit of estrogen and progesterone. It's a balance. But what we're finding now more and more, and we're seeing it with women too, losing interest, and their libido gradually goes down. And we think, well, this is probably due to aging. I just have other interests, or I just don't have the energy, when that's really very far from the truth. So when a lot of us are, many people in the population are taking cholesterol lowering drugs. So when we're doing that, we're essentially affecting the bottom line in our testosterone production. And testosterone is a big thing. When we get commercials all over the place talking about low T and how can we get our testosterone levels up. Well, number one, and one of the things that we can do is really look at number one, are you on a cholesterol lowering agent, such as a statin? Statins are very hard on the liver and and it lowers the cholesterol, but in the meantime, when it's lowering cholesterol, which then in turn leads to low testosterone production, which one of the symptoms of low testosterone is erectile dysfunction or not being able to gain an erection. So this is a big deal because it not only affects men and their manlyhood and feeling robust at every age, because with a man who has healthy hormonal levels, he's going to be able to perform well into his 70s and 80s. It's very possible. So one of the things too that it affects is women, because not only it's affecting our hormone balance, but it's affecting that inner relationship and the ability to be intimate, which is a very integral part of having a relationship and being married. So those are the things that I feel are partially contributing to erectile dysfunction.
What about diet? Is diet have to do with it? I mean, what if I've met some men that are not on cholesterol meds, okay, and they have ED, And now they're going to these anti-aging clinics and they're taking hormones. And can you speak to the dangers of the hormone replacement therapy or bioidentical hormones in
Yeah,
reference?
so yeah, so what we're essentially doing is we're giving ourselves these hormones and negating our body's own ability to produce it, or how can we help our bodies to produce its own mechanisms, or supporting the mechanisms that help us to produce our own hormones. So yeah, while we need them because we need to function, we're really masking a bigger problem, an underlying problem. So in trying to get away from synthetics or even bioidenticals, and being able to encourage our body's own production of hormones is really important and key. But you also talked about diet, and we need a very healthy balance in our diet. We need to, eating fruits and vegetables that help the basic metabolic cellular function to help produce our own hormones. There's, we can talk about, the God's greatest miracle molecule, glutathione. That is essential and the cornerstone and the basis of cellular function, being able to support the liver, which the liver produces cholesterol. So when you look at and start backing up on each of these steps and looking for the root cause, and how do I naturally more holistically approach the problem, we can begin to get off these medications and bioidenticals and synthetics that are actually wreaking havoc on our bodies. I mean, when we're replacing, for women, for example, when you replace with synthetic hormones, it puts you more at risk for things like stroke and affecting and not being able to, our bodies can't work with chemicals, right? Even though they're made molecularly to try to mimic, our bodies are intelligent and can tell when something is synthetic. So it's very important that we try to get our bodies and getting our bodies to optimal health by the proper supplementation and supporting and giving our bodies the basic building blocks so that our production in our body that's natural to our body can return us back to where we're not having issues with uh, erectile dysfunction, or we're not losing our libido. That's the word I was trying to think of. So, there's many things that we can do. I know, Jeannie, you were asking me about, glutathione and how can that help with the helping balance our hormones. Well, number one, glutathione has over 400 functions, or it helps with 400 functions in our body. And one of those is by a healthy liver and producing healthy amounts of cholesterol and testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone are 100% by weight cholesterol. So
Wow.
when we restore our cholesterol levels and do that normally and naturally, we're naturally going to help our bodies balance our own hormones. So it's, while we can take bioidenticals and we need to have relief of symptoms right away and be able to function in our life, that might be okay for a moment. But what are we doing to take responsibility to find out where's the break in the chain? So that's kind of my input on and some
Yeah. Well,
factors.
in my experience, it can all be completely prevented. And, coming from the disease prevention field, and the very first thing everyone needs to address is detoxification and nutrient deficiencies. I mean, it's really that simple. Everybody tries to complicate, oh, I need this, I need this. And then the mental health aspect, I'm glad you brought up the cholesterol and the brain and so forth and stroke, but look at the side effects of these medicines. I mean, of the medication that they give you for ED, what is the side effect?
Yeah, so I mean, one of the medications is Viagra. In its classification, it's a vasodilator. And the reason is because our sexual organs have arteries and veins. And so when you open up those arteries, you increase blood flow to that area so that men does that's part of the issue, plaquing and things like that. If you
Mhm.
can't get blood flow to that area, you're not going to be able to get an erection. So when you take Viagra, you have to be very careful. Some people are not even candidates for that particular medication because maybe they're on a blood pressure lowering medication. Maybe they're on Norvasc or they're on metoprolol or they're on something that's low, and they take a Viagra on top of that. They can bottom out and pass out or pass away. So you really have it's a medication that, while it's great because it temporarily fixes the problem, okay? Um, and of course there's side effects of that as well. But you have to be very careful because it's a vasodilator, it lowers the blood pressure. So that's one main side effect and one thing, reason why maybe a man isn't eligible or a candidate for that medication. So, what do men do? We got to look
So
at how do we
we
get the
know what they
optimal.
can do now. I mean, now that we have glutathione and we have it in a way that you can simply swish it in your mouth like mouthwash and you can take it as many times as you want a day, I believe it can regulate that out probably pretty quickly without needing to go on any of those. And then coupled with other essential nutrients that your body needs anyway every single day, and possibly some botanicals or herbs that are known to help libido and reduce stress and so forth.
Mhm,
And then
mhm,
there's always making sure you're properly hydrated. So for every problem, there is a solution naturally. For every problem in the medical community, they throw a drug at it that basically makes you more toxic, lowers your glutathione levels even more, and you never get there. You can never fully recover. You can never heal on a medication. There isn't a single drug on the market that can cure a disease. None of them does. But the natural methods take maybe more time and take more money, but in the long run, you will live longer, you will live healthier, and you'll be more vital for many more years. So it's really a
mhm.
decision that you have to make. Do you want to live longer, healthier, or not? Because I mean,
Absolutely.
for some people that like myself, medication is no option. And not to mention, I wouldn't even want to be with anyone on medication because, that medication, those things transfer over. All of
Mhm.
them, they ended up in the water supply. People don't even think about that. We're getting so much of other people's medication in the water supply because there isn't any filters for prescription medications. It ends up in the oceans, in the rivers, and in the lakes, along with every other heavy metal toxin and all the other things that are causing health issues to begin with.
Yeah, which contribute to hormone imbalances.
Yeah,
Let's talk
and so
I mean,
one topic
we could talk a long
is
time for it.
ED,
Yeah.
and basically it leads into so many other issues, like you said, so many other roots that need to
Mhm,
be addressed to
mhm.
overcome and recover from that dysfunction. So thank
Yes.
you for joining us on this brief episode of erectile dysfunction, and we'll see you on the next episode about hormone balance for women.
See you next time.